Hi everyone, it's Terry here showing another process video for Peartree Cutfiles. This time I'm using the side-by-side cut file from the September collection. I'm using a patterned paper to cut out the background section of the cut file and then cut it again out of white cardstock so that I can use the letters on the patterned paper. So to do this, I released the compound path in the Silhouette Studio so that I could take the inside of the letters out so that I got that background piece, and then cut the letters from white cardstock. So I've just stuck the letters directly on top with just some wet glue, and now I'm just doodling kind of the outline of the white letter. Just wanted it to stand out a little bit more. I'm purposefully doing kind of messy lines so that it's not meant to look neat, it's meant to look kind of a sketched outline. Hopefully you'll see it a bit more in the close-up photos. You'll also see that I decide to colour in part of the scripty "by" word because it just didn't seem to stand out with that patterned paper from Jen Hadfield. So I do just draw around it and then colour in the thicker sections. Because of the pen that I've used, you can, when you look at it close up, you can still see the pattern through it ever so slightly, but it does create a bolder effect and then it makes it easier to read. So I'm using this photo of me and my husband now on our pre-wedding photo shoot. It's a photo of us stood on a bridge, and I've pulled out this really old patterned paper that's got a zigzag wood grain print to it. I think it's an old one from Echo Park. So I've just cut a semicircle out of that and I'm just distressing the edges. So I want to use this kind of the main area of patterned paper on my layout. So to start with, I think I'm going to use it like as a top-down circle, but you will see that I do change the composition a little bit. So I'm just drawing around it gently in pencil, and then I'm going to get out my watercolour paints. So these are just some pearlescent watercolours that I bought on Amazon, and I'm using a water brush just to kind of go along the outside of that line that I've drawn really faintly with the different colours of green kind of blending in together so that it'll stick out from underneath the patterned paper semicircle. So I also add a few splats around as well so that it's not a kind of a definite line, just kind of breaks it up a little bit. So I do add some of the gold liquid acrylic ink as well to give it a bit more of a pop. So you'll see I've got a big splodge there that I do brush out with a paintbrush, and actually I know that my photo is going to sit there, so I'm not too worried. So to add more interest to this semicircle, I decided to add some pom-pom trim to it. So I've got some white mini pom-pom trim. I'm just adding that with some double-sided sticky tape, and I also run the sewing machine through it, which has got some metallic gold thread in it. So here's my semicircle, and it's now got that gold thread through it. I'm just adding some adhesive, and the background's dry, so I can now add it on top. So you can just see how that green is popping through quite faintly in the background. I'm just playing around with how I want to map my photo and also the composition of how I want that background. So I've added a small bit of dark green patterned paper, and now just adding some vellum onto that background, onto that mat for the photo as well. So it does turn into quite a simple layout in the end with just a few bits of embellishment coming up. I'm adding the photo on with some foam dots, and I do the same with the title. So the side by side is going to be sit underneath the photo. So I'll stick the title down again on some foam pads. I've pulled out these florals from an older Jen Hadfield collection, but I don't want all that white there, so I am trimming round all of the pieces to get rid of some of that white edge to them. So you'll see that I do that on quite a lot of them and start tucking them in around my photo. Now I've got the floral elements in I want to use, I'm just looking through the sticker books to see if there's any other elements. So I've pulled out this little wood grain house, and now I'm adding some florals in and around the clusters on some foam squares. Also adding a couple of little rainbows just to add a bit of colour to the layout, because it's very brown and green at the moment. I just want to pull in some little bits of reds and blues, just to add a bit more interest. So just added that little border sticker and a clip at the top of the photo, which I do move to the other side. And again, to pull in a bit more colour, I've got that sticker that says together. This photo was taken at a local National Trust place called Padley Gorge on the Longshore Estate near Sheffield, and it's a beautiful area to visit. We really love going there for a walk. I'm just adding some of the word stickers from the Reaching Out collection by Jen Hadfield. So what I really like about some of Jen Hadfield's collections is that they all fit together. So in this layout there's 3 different collections from her. To pull in the kind of wood grain feel, I'm also pulling in some of the cork Peartree pieces. So it's come together quite quickly, and here is my finished layout. As you can see, those sketched letters. Again, thank you for joining me, and check out the description for more links below, and don't forget to subscribe.